Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Lee, coming back with a second video. I did mention in my previous video that I will be making a video of my experiences with the Spirit Airline and Frontier Airline. So I'm gonna start with Spirit. It's not gonna be a long video at all, but I just wanted to point out some factors, and it's very questionable. So, as I mentioned before, before I get started, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Click the notification bell for any new content that I may have uploaded, so you guys stay in tune. Again, Andrea Rose LLC. The entire website is 30% off. You get free shipping with $30 or more. So stay tuned for more updates about that. But I'm going to jump into this really quick. So basically my experience, and I'll give you for both of them. So my first experience with Spirit, first of all, after reading all of the reviews, I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. I heard various accounts of reviews where people were saying like they always thought that like they were gonna die, the plane was shaking, and what else did they say? They just said like really bad things about Spirit. So of course, when I booked my ticket to Punta Cana, I was just like, these are like the only good price tickets that I can get, so I'm gonna get what I can get. So that's pretty much what happened. And here's what happened when I first got in. So as I mentioned in my previous video of my experience in Punta Cana for a solo trip, when I got into the airport, I went to go check in. The one girl that was there at the kiosk, they have a self check-in kiosk, and it wasn't that bad. Like, it was really easy. Like, I really like that self check-in kiosk, but like the girl that was there, she was helping me, and she told me that I wouldn't have to, pay twice because I'm going on, another flight to Punta Cana, even though the flight was different. So she told me I would only have to pay one price for my luggage. So, I was set on that. I kind of figured it was going to end up happening like that because it was very heavy. So it was like 50 something pounds or whatever. But when I got to check in, the girl that was actually behind the counter, like the actually behind the counter to take my luggage, she was absolutely terrible. Like, she was so ghetto. I just didn't understand what the ghetto-ness was for, the attitude was for. I was real nice, I approached her, hi, how are you? I'm going here. What's the next thing that you would need? And when I asked her, like, what documents she would need, I had like my passport and my ID, and I had everything out. But it was her demeanor. It was so ghetto. And I just did not like that. It was unprofessional, and I absolutely hated it. And I was just like, okay, so this is what I'm going to be experiencing during this. So I took my stuff, and I had to double check to make sure I didn't leave my phone on the counter because she was rushing me, and there was literally like nobody behind me. There was like maybe one person, maybe two, and not that many people behind me. So I felt like that was real unprofessional. Like, she just wanted to hurry up and get rid of the people so she can do whatever she wants to do on her phone. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So then I get up to the TSA checkpoint, and like I was mentioning in the other video, the TSA agent behind that counter was very rude, and she honestly needs to get fired because she was just absolutely disgusting. And I'm just gonna say, like, that was really unprofessional. Like, I understand you gotta do your job just like I gotta do mine, but I'm not gonna sit here and start barking through a glass because I'm sitting here pulling my stuff out of my purse and you don't have patience. Like, okay, I understand that you're supposed to have it out at a certain time, but I had like four things in my hand. Like, I'm passport, ID, like this is all stuff that I tried to reshove back in my purse. Carry on, I'm dragging with my carry on that I got my backpack I'm holding on to so nobody takes my stuff. And she's just rude. Like, she was real nasty. Like, I wanted to go through that glass. Like, girl, calm down, or you need to go somewhere else. Go to a correctional facility or something where you don't have to see people. You can see inmates, because that's exactly what kind of attitude she had. So I finally get through her, and then I get through TSA. So they made me dump my water, of course. So you have to dump your water, no liquids, no nothing, just an FYI. You guys gotta dump all that out. So I had no water. My mouth was dry. I had to use the bathroom. It was a hot freaking mess. So I get through TSA, and then I go sit where my flights are. Now, mind you, my daughter's uncle was also flying back. So this was going to Orlando. So when I sat there with him, he was going back to Fort Lauderdale. I was going to Orlando. His flight was not delayed or canceled or anything. So he left early before I did, but my flight was delayed. His was at 8:52 and mine was at 8:59, and they delayed our flight until like 9:26, as I mentioned in the previous video. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, they're probably gonna end up canceling or something. So he ended up leaving. I said bye to him. And then when it was finally time to board, the boarding online pass said it was a certain time that we had to stand in line because they're going to start boarding people. So of course the sign says, handicapped people, disabled people, they go first. Absolutely. And then the zone 1 people, which I was actually a zone 1 person, we also get to go first. And my God. So we get in the line, and this guy, I guess he was coming off his shift. I guess he had like a few minutes off his shift or something. He started yelling at us in the line, talking about y'all need to go and sit back down because it's not time to board or something like that. And I was like, I know this grown man is not yelling at us like we ain't grown people that did not pay for these tickets. And you sitting here trying to give commands and stuff. The boarding pass said at 8, I think it was 8:56. They're gonna start boarding for the 9:26 flight. So it said 8:56, and that's what it said. And it was 8:56. So we're standing in our line. We're supposed to. So I yelled out. I said, I'm not going to sit down nowhere because on my online pass it says 8:56 is boarding time. So a lot of people got angry because of that. Because, first of all, you delayed our flight, and then you're telling us to go sit. But it says we're supposed to be standing here right now, so why do we have to sit? That makes no sense. So we just all stood there. We didn't listen to him. We let him go do his thing or whatever, because I think he was coming off his shift. And then the lady was real nice. She checked us in, and we was finally going in. If you guys watched my stories, you guys saw me going in the plane. And I sat down. The seats were very narrow, like they were saying in the other videos. So the seats were very narrow, but I think it was enough for me because, I'm small. So it wasn't too bad for me. Like the leg room wasn't too bad. Like I didn't have like any muscle spasms or anything in my legs or not. I think it was pretty fine for me. Then I had this nice couple. They were sitting next to me. They had the little baby daughter. And I sat and I talked to them for a little bit because I'm a parent too. So I had a nice, pleasant conversation with them. And then throughout the flight, they actually moved their seat because they actually offered them another row so I can actually have the row for myself. So the first flight coming in to Orlando, it wasn't too bad. The pilot was actually pretty decent. Like he was real good. He talked to everybody throughout the flight, letting us know the weather, what's happening, what time we're going to land. And he was, kind of like checking in a little bit. So that's what makes me feel good going on flights is when they talk to you. So coming into Orlando, he did a nice good landing. Everybody clapped, so, it was pretty, it was a good flight. So I wouldn't say for Spirit coming in from Philly was bad. But going out to Punta Cana, that was a whole nother story. So I get to the Florida airport, and they took forever with the baggage claim. I don't know what was happening outside. I don't know if they were sleeping on the belt. I don't know what was happening, but for them to take a whole hour and some change to unload, it had nothing to do with the pilot and nothing in that plane. It was the people that was working. So I don't know what happened, but they took an hour and some change just to drop off some stuff onto the belt to let us get our stuff. So that took an hour. So then the next day, well, it was still the same day because it was in the morning. We get ready for the Punta Cana plane. So again, this whole madness with Spirit was happening all week. So it did follow into our flights for Saturday and Sunday. So Sunday's flight, like I mentioned in the previous video, they had 3 different lines going on. So I wasn't even sure what was happening, like who was going where. So I'm literally standing in this one line that said international, and it was for like Colombia or something else. And then the other line was like the domestic, United States one. And then there was another one on the other side, but they were the ones I think going to the Dominican Republic. So I'm like, now I gotta fly all the way down here with my 3-legged friend and my carry-on and my backpack and my book. Like, I'm just like, yo, I'm tired. I can't do this. So I get in the line, and the line is moving as slow as molasses. This is like, it was just crazy. I was just like, what in the world? Like, why? Why are you going so slow? Why is this so slow? So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we have some time because our flight didn't leave until 9:50. It was like 7. It was a little after 7. I'm going to say like maybe 7:20 when I got into the right line. I was there for 2 hours. I literally was in that line for 2 hours. I was in that line for 2 hours. And that's why they tell you to come in 3 hours before. It was so terrible. It was like they had no staff. I mean, the ladies at the counter were real nice, and they were, kind of trying to speed everything up, once I got up there. But my God, they had nobody working. Everybody was confused on who was going where. They was breaking up people. Whoever was going to Colombia, they grabbed them out of the line, and the line is shifting. It was just a hot mess. So Spirit in Orlando, they really was just like, it was just a hot mess. So when I finally get up to the counter, well, no, let me go back. So the husband and the wife, they were really, really nice. So we was in the line for so long, we were all hungry. So they, there was a McDonald's open, and the wife actually went out and got McDonald's, and the husband had asked, he was like, do you want anything? Because I know you kept saying that you were hungry, and the line isn't moving at all. And I was like, no, it's okay. So I was going to eat my hunger all the way until I got to Punta Cana. So I get in the wife comes back, and she actually brought me some breakfast, which was so nice of them. So I was happy. And then the line was finally moving. So back up to the lady at the counter. So she takes my bag and she weighs it again. And she's like, oh, it's, this amount of weight. And I'm like, yeah, well, the girl at the first in Philadelphia said that I wouldn't have to pay it twice. She said I would just have to give you the luggage. So she ended up, she was real nice, and she ended up waiving it for me. So I didn't have to pay, the extra $60 again. So she waived it. She was like, just go to your flight, go, because you got to go, because they were about to pull out. And, they were sitting here rushing us now after they done had us wait in line for 2 hours, and they're like rushing all of us to get on the plane. So I'm like flying through the airport with my carry-on and my book bag and my book. Hold on for dear life, just running, trying to get to the plane. So I get through TSA. TSA was pretty smooth. It wasn't like anything like real hard or anything. So I didn't have an issue with them going through the TSA process. Now, I would say once I got on the plane, this was a different crew. This was a different crew. And it was interesting, to say the least. I would say they were pretty nice. They were pretty nice. They weren't like super bad, but they were pretty nice. But the pilot, like, I think it was because the pilot barely spoke. I don't know what it was, but he just didn't speak. So he spoke like once or twice, but once the plane started, I felt a little nervous because from my experience from the other pilot, the pilot was like, checking in, and he was making sure everything was cool and calm and collected. But this pilot barely spoke. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, if something happens, like what am I supposed to do? Like, he don't talk. So, I have bad nerves with planes as it is. So as soon as the plane started going, of course I closed my eyes. I was trying to read my book, trying to be distracted, from the flight. When we finally got in the air, it was smooth sailing at first, but then the plane started to shake. So I was like, oh, come on. I was like, oh my goodness, the flight was mad scary. We was going through like these clouds. I think it might have been gusty winds or something, but we was going through the clouds, and then the plane started to and I'm just like, oh, not today, Lord, please, not today, Lord, not today. So I was sitting next to this other couple, a Spanish speaking couple, and the lady was just like holding on to her husband the whole time like this. And I'm just like, I'm like, girl, I feel you. I feel you. That's exactly how I feel right now. So it was a really shaky ride compared to the first one. The first one was smooth. So the first Spirit flight was smooth. The second Spirit flight was like rocky as hell. Like, it was like like it was just scary, and I was scared I was never gonna make it to Punta Cana. So I thank the Lord that I made it to Punta Cana, because that was just a scary ride in itself. So this flight was a lot different. The pilot barely spoke. It's like he spoke in the beginning, and then he just spoke at the end. So I'm just like, okay, so this is definitely different. The flight attendants were really good, but it wasn't the pilot was like kind of silent. So I was a little scared the whole flight. And that was only a 2-hour flight. So it was different. I would say like my Spirit experience with this, and they were really good with the baggage too. My luggage was actually available when I got off. When I walked around the little thing, it was like right there. So, my Spirit experience would be different from everybody else's Spirit experience. I actually had a it was a good flight. My seat again for the second flight, it was narrow, but it was perfect for me because it was just me. So I didn't really have complaints about that. They didn't offer snacks, but I didn't really want a snack, so I didn't really care. So it was a good experience. It wasn't like the best because of the delays, the baggage claim issues, and their staff when it comes to checking in the airport was not the greatest. But flight experience, I think it was okay. It wasn't American Airlines, but it wasn't bad for what I paid for. So I won't give them like a -1 star. I would say Spirit's flight would be like maybe a 6 or a 7. A 6 or a 7. So that's why, folks, customer service is everything, because that can actually be the reason why those stars go down. Because my experience with the customer service people, I think, was the worst part of Spirit because of their attitude. So on to Frontier. So Frontier is going to be a lot quicker because I only took them for the plane ride back home. So I arrived at the airport. Once I took my COVID test, we're going to speed this up. Once I took my COVID test, I came down the stairs or the elevator and went to the Frontier desk. Like I said in my previous video, the process was really smooth. The lady at the counter, she was like real professional, and she was able to, get me in and out. She gave me my migration paper, and she was like, just fill this out, da da da. Again, to migration, checkpoint my boarding pass to San Juan. And then, you go through TSA, same thing. TSA process was real smooth. There was no one there to be yelling at you and stuff like that. So it was real smooth. So this was for Frontier, y'all. So I was a little nervous because I thought it was going to be like Spirit. So the customer service lady, again, she was real professional. The migration people were real professional. It was when we got to the flight. It was when we got to the flight. Once I went through, after I ate my food, I went to the food court to, eat something, because this was going to be the 6-hour flight or whatever, with the layover in between. So I get to the actual place. They had a little charger port. So, I'm just chilling, hanging out, talking to the one lady that's going on the flight. So she was cracking me. I think she was drunk. I don't know. I don't know. But she was talking about like my suitcase and having a charger on my suitcase. So I don't know. But we get that text message, like I mentioned in my previous video, and it said that our gate changed. So, mind you, when we trying to find the gate, so we get all the way over to C, like the C, I think it was like C7 or something like that, through C10, and we get over there and we're like all looking around, like, I don't know. I see all my people that I know was going on the flight with us going down some stairs. So I'm like, they got a basement down there. So I'm like following all these people. So then I see the same people that were sitting in the row where the Frontier people were in the beginning. And I yelled up the step. I said, y'all going to San Juan? And they said, yeah, we're going to San Juan. I said, okay, I'm going in the right spot. So I kept going down around the ramp. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be something else. So I'm sitting there, and they had the Frontier side, and I think it was Southwest side. They were going to Baltimore, and then we were going to Philly. So we're sitting there, and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, we're probably only going to be here for a little bit. And my phone battery was like on 34%. So I'm just like, surfing the internet or whatever. And I'm thinking like there's going to be like a charger port. There was absolutely no charger ports where I was sitting at. So my phone battery juice was just, once I got to the plane. So please buy a chargeable battery or something like that, y'all. That's another tip I'm going to throw out there, because I still don't have one and I need to get one. So Frontier, we get there and we're sitting there. So I start having a conversation with other passengers that are going on there, and they from Philly or whatever. So we start getting into the conversations and stuff, and then boom, we get hit with a second text message. Second text message says, oh, your flight has been delayed from the 354. I think it was 354 to now 408. So we're sitting there like waiting and waiting and waiting. And by the time we actually got there, some lady that was also going on the flight back to Philly, she yelled out, oh, we're not going to get to San Juan until after 6 o'clock. I said, after 6 o'clock? So that meant our plane was not coming in until like 5 something. Because the flight's like an hour and some change. So I'm like, wow. So everything got pushed back. So when we finally get the announcement from, I think it was when everybody started gathering together, is how we actually knew our flight was coming. They started bringing the buses around to put the people in to take them over to the plane, because the plane was late as it was. So we get to the gate to line up or whatever to go through. And of course, the people forgot about the handicapped people. The handicapped people was off to the side. They was going off because the process was like so unmanaged correctly. It was so bad. So the handicapped people never made it to the front. So then the guy starts saying, hey, 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 hey. And then the lady was like, hey, hey, hey. So there was a whole bunch of hays going around. Line up, line up, line up. Let all the handicapped people. I'm like, y'all should have had this already figured out. Like, you already know, first of all, our flight was delayed twice. Okay, y'all moved our gate. And then you delayed us to 408. And now you're delaying us until 5 something. It was delayed twice. So we anxious to get on this plane. So you should have had this figured out, and you should have blurted out, can all of anyone who's in a wheelchair, disabled, whatever the case may be, that's what y'all should have did. But you didn't do that, which caused a whole chaos. There's all these people, there's like this shimmery line like this, like a snake. It's like a slithering line of people. And then you have the handicapped people in their wheelchairs over here. And then you have a whole bunch of people on this side. It was just a hot mess. So then they tell us to get into a single file line. I'm like, how are we getting in a single file line if we're all pushed out to the side? So then he goes and says, well, y'all need to buddy up or something like that. And I was just like, y'all just want me to slap somebody today. Like, today gonna be the day, because I want to go home. It's hot down here. There's no AC in that basement. No cord to put your phone in. Then our flight was delayed twice. My phone is dying, and there's people that want to get on this plane. So then, after that happened, I finally get to the front, and there was this mom and the son, and I guess they must have got separated for somebody they was with. And I don't know what it was, but the little boy looked back at me, and I guess I don't know what it was. I guess because he wanted me to let somebody through. I said no. Like, if they were supposed to be with you, you need to move in the front with your family. So the guy goes and says, like, I was like a little off the curve. He goes and says, you need to be in the line. I said, my dude, I need you to calm down, and I am in the line. So I just gave him my paper. I said, here, aki, 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 aki. And I left and got on the bus. So once we got off the bus, it was a smooth transition into the plane. The stewardess and the flight attendants, they were cool. They were mad chill. The pilot was cool too. I was a little nervous about him though, because I didn't understand some of the things he was saying, but I was a little nervous about him, just a little bit. But he did have us have a smooth transition into the plane. So, you know, he told us everything that was happening, the weather, you know, the time we're supposed to touch down and things like that. So he did make me feel comfortable, so it wasn't too bad. But I was a little skeptical at first because he was stuttering a little bit, and I was like, okay, I hope he ain't drink nothing. Like, I was a little scared. I like the fact that the plane had a cute little bird on the way. I don't know what it was. I was excited to just go into this plane because they always have the cool animals on the end. So I was like, I wonder what animal we're going to get. So we had a cardinal. So that, mind you, this is to San Juan. I didn't even get off of San Juan yet. So we get on the plane, and he's, you know, he's flying the plane or whatever. And we got there pretty quick. Like, this pilot was really fast. Like, he was really fast. Like, we got to San Juan. It was storming over there, though. It was bad. So that's most likely why our flight got delayed, because of the weather. But the pilot got us there really quick. So I was happy about that. But San Juan was the issue. So the lady goes and announces on the phone, on the little intercom. She's like, okay, so on this flight, you're going to have to go to baggage claim and get your checked-in bag. Then you're going to have to recheck it in at the Frontier desk. And then board the plane. And I'm like, okay, it's like after 6 o'clock. Like, I was so mad. I wanted to go to San Juan and get a little like souvenir saying that I was there, even if it was for a second. Like, I wanted a souvenir, like a flag, a bracelet, something. Everything was closed. Everything was closed. We got there, and the first thing we had to all do was shove off this plane and go to the baggage claim area and get our luggage. It took, like I said, it took mad long for that to start. It took mad long for the baggage to come out. So I'm like, what time does our plane leave? Like, our plane leaves at like 6 something, and we just landed. So it's just like, we literally had to come off the plane and jump back on the plane. So once the baggage claim started, after like almost freaking 30 minutes, like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what these people be doing outside. Like, I don't know if they be chatting or whatever, not doing their job. But they work slow as molasses, and it's annoying. So it took a long time for them to even put the stuff on the... Sorry, I'm looking at my cat. He's looking at me. It took a long time for them to put everything on the belt. So finally, when we finally get all of our baggage, we have to go through another checkpoint. So I had to pick up, mind you, I had press-on nails, y'all. They was popping off as I'm picking this bag up. I'm like, oh my God. So I pick up this bag and I hold on to the belt. Then I gotta put on my carry-on. I said, oh. Then I had to take off my backpack real quick. So I put my backpack up there. And I'm like looking for this green sticker. Everybody had like some green sticker. And my green sticker was not on my checked in bag. I already had a tag on there. But I was like, I don't know, whatever. I go. So I'm flying through the airport after I get my bags off this belt. Flying with these 2 bags in my hand. I give it to the lady, and then she was like, okay, hurry, hurry, hurry. When she said hurry, 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 I'm like, oh my God. So I go over there into the TSA line. They was moving pretty quick because they knew some of our flights were about to leave. So we get over to the TSA. Like I said, the guy was real cool. Like, he was real smooth. So he's, he said what he had to say. Like, I'm stuttering. He said what he had to say, and he let me go. So I was like, okay, cool. So TSA, going through the stuff pretty quick. No nothing. They didn't have to do nothing. So the guy was like, okay. He was like, you going to Philly? I was like, yeah, I'm going to Philadelphia. He was like, okay, go that way. So I was like, okay. So I started flying through the hallway. I started flying, and I wanted to stop so bad to get a snack. I was like, forget it. I don't want to get left. So I go to the check-in so I can get on the plane, and the guy, he was real cool. He was like, okay, you gotta hurry, 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 hurry. And I'm just like, oh my God, y'all saying hurry, hurry, hurry. It's making my head hurt. So he checks in my boarding pass, and I get on the plane, and everybody is just like, it's just like packed. It's like packed full of people. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Like, the fact that we just got off a plane, didn't even sit in San Juan for like 10 minutes. Like, this whole plane is like full of people. So I find my seat, and I'm sitting there. So the seats were not that narrow. It's still the same plane, y'all. So this is still the same plane. I'm just in a different seat at this point. The seats were like, they were like the Spirit seats, but I think just a little bit wider. But I felt honestly more comfortable on this plane versus the Spirit plane, which is really bad. But I felt more comfortable on the Frontier plane than the Spirit plane, just because the crew, they were really. I mean, the Spirit crew was great too. I mean, the Spirit crew was great. The second Spirit crew, they were kind of like I said, they were good, but it was like the first crew that from the first Spirit crew, they were the bomb. I like them. They were the bomb. But the crew on the Frontier, they were very professional. I think that was really what really was made me feel better on this flight, because it was raining outside, and I never flew in rain before. Even when I was little, I never flew in rain. It was always sunny outside. So the professionalism of this crew is what made me feel good about this flight. So once everybody sat in their seats and stuff, I had this couple, they were cool. I think they were Puerto Rican. I want to say they were Puerto Rican. And they were real cool. We was all, just sitting there. And they wanted to see out. I didn't even realize they wanted to see out the window. I think, no, was that that couple? No, that was a different couple. Was it a different couple? I don't remember. I was sitting next to couples the whole time. So, they were, they were real nice or whatever, and we just had a cool, just chill flight, and everybody was like relaxed and calm, and it was a really good flight coming into Philly. And then once he landed the plane, he did a smooth landing. It wasn't too bumpy or nothing like that. The Spirit over in Punta Cana, that thing said boom. So a Frontier, he was real smooth. That pilot was real smooth with the landing. So it was a good flight where we all ended up clapping, because it was such a long day for all of us. It was just bananas. So I would say, if anything, I felt really comfortable flying with Frontier more than Spirit. However, it all depends on the pilot and the crew. Like, it all depends on the pilot and the crew, because like I said, the first Spirit flight was not bad at all. I actually felt really good on that flight. The pilot was great. The team was great. The second time I didn't feel too confident in that flight, because the crew was cool, but it was the pilot that wasn't saying anything. So we didn't even know what was going on outside. You know what I mean? So I don't know what was happening. It was raining a little bit over in Punta Cana when we first got there. So when we first arrived, it was pouring, raining. So he didn't even say, hey, by the way, we're going into some showers. He didn't say anything. So it all depends on your experience with the pilots and the flight attendants and things like that. I just feel like every experience is different. So it wasn't as bad as a lot of other people's experiences were, but I would say um, you won't know your experience until you actually go out and experience it. So I don't want to say they were bad. The delays were horrible. I would say the delays for both of them both equaled them. I would say Frontier, same thing. I would actually give this one a 7 or an 8 if it wasn't for the delays. Because, like I said, the team and the crew was cool. And then the fact that we had to recheck in our bags again, that was annoying. And that was like something we shouldn't have had to do, especially because we're going on the same plane. So it was just annoying to do that, but I would definitely give them a 7 or an 8 for sure because they made me feel safe coming home. So guys gotta go out there and experience. I had flown all American, like the show, American Airlines, Spirit, and Frontier, and of course American Airlines tops everything. They had like plugs in their in their plane, and it was always a smooth ride. It was a smooth ride going to Punta Cana and a smooth ride coming back to Philly for American Airlines. So they definitely get like a 9 and a 10. A 9 because the plug didn't work. But the Spirit and Frontier, they weren't too bad, especially for their prices. You have to pay for everything. Unfortunately, you have to pay for your seat and your checked-in bags or whatever else you gotta pay for. But honestly, for the price, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. Just make sure when you guys go on your flights, you're picking your flights. Pick the best one that's for you. Every flight is different. Every pilot is different. Every flight attendant's crew is different. So don't let the reviews and things. Everybody has different reviews about things. You will never know until you try it. So I don't discourage you. Try Spirit. Try Frontier. See what you can try out there. I done tried 3 of them in 1 year already. So don't be discouraged at all. But again, this is your girl Lee. Thank you for watching me. Again, I was trying to make this short, but the experience was so long. I had to break it down in parts here. But thank you guys for holding on. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Make sure you hit that notification bell, so you get all the newest videos that I post. And also go check out our website. All the links are in the bio, including my social media handles. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Take care.